So I've been doing this video for a while. I just have a whole load of timers and mats right here, and I'm going to test compatibility, just play around with them for a while in order to determine which ones are worth getting for what. The main issue when people ask is not really like, there's a lot about, oh, I like that design, but unfortunately cube companies are more interested in making them not cross-compatible so that you're forced to buy their mat for their timer. Of course, speed stacks are the absolute worst of this. Their mat does hook on very, very easily. You just push it on and then get it off like that. It does hook on very, very easily to their specific mat, but the timer is smaller and the hooks in place are in a very different position to any other timer, so you are forced to use their specific mat for their specific timer if you want it to hold in place at all. So that is a large mat, which is pretty large, but certainly not the largest. Certainly not the largest. So if I measure it with this ruler, at the largest point it is 75 centimeters by 26. 75 by 26, which is pretty big but not massive. Here we have the SpeedStack's standard mat, which I'm presuming is going to be a lot smaller. Now this is what they use in all the UK competitions, along with the SpeedStack's timer at the moment. So if you want the absolute competition experience, then this is one to get. Funnily enough, it also has a WCA logo on it, whereas the other one has the World SpeedStack Association logo on it, which is kind of interesting. I suspect cubing is most of SpeedStack's business these days, because speed stacking isn't as popular. But yes, you can see that the other one is a lot smaller, and yep, so about just over 40 centimeters by, again, about, actually maybe slightly wider. No, it is about 25 centimeters. So about 40 by 25 at its very largest point. Right. Now let's do Qi. So Qi timers are probably the most popular timers on speedcubing.org because they are so reliable, because I'm willing to throw them at walls and they'll be fine. Now, Qi do things differently. They have these clips which can be used directly on the mats. So the mats themselves don't come with any clips, but the clips are provided in the box. Now here is a brand new Qi timer. I'm not going to put any batteries in it right now. I'm just going to use the clips. I'm not looking to test out things. So with this, you are going to have to put this in and then screw it in place on any mat. So looks like there's a spare screw as well. So it's not going to be an instant process, but it is probably more secure in place. Now, I think the first thing to try is this large Qi mat, which does look quite nice, has lots of Qi things on it, and let's hook it in place. Okay, so the holes are screwed in place. These holes things, a bit more complicated than the SpeedStack system, but it does go right in place, and then it's sort of locked in, although can wriggle about a bit more than I would want, and then yeah, can come up with them. It is, yeah, a bit not quite as locked in as I would like actually, but it is a mat is not easily going to move around unless you pick it up or want it to. And of course, you can fold it up around the timer, have the timer stored with the mat, which is what the UK Cube Association do at competitions. Now, the trouble is, for me, most people are just going to screw this in. It'll take like 2 minutes and then that'll be done. However, for me, because I'm testing so many mats, I'm going to have to keep unscrewing these and re-screwing them, which is rather annoying, but it's something I'm going to have to do for the purpose of this video. It is, of course, worth noting that the SpeedStacks timer just won't fit. Like, if you try and make it fit, you'll have to bend the mat a bit. It just won't really fit in place on the Qi mat. So I think that's very, very deliberate on SpeedStacks' part. So here we have the smaller Qi mat. It's only 50 by 35 centimeters as opposed to the larger one, which is 80 by 30 centimeters. So it's slightly slimmer, but it is a lot longer. And that is probably one of the longest ones. I mean, I think the Moyu mat is about the same length, roughly. So, yeah, they're fine mats. Now, the interesting thing is the Moyu mats actually work with the Qi timer. Now, I think it's worth just first looking at some of the other Qi mat options. These appear to come with these clips anyway, so you can just clip them onto the timers. But of course, the Qi timer already comes with these clips, and I suspect that these mats are going to be the exact same and are not going to work with other timers, so it is just the Qi timers that they work with. They just are nice enough to provide an extra set of clips in case you lost yours that came with the Qi timer. Although, of course, the other Qi mats don't provide that. So if you are thinking of getting a mat, then I would recommend getting it at the same time as a timer, or keeping hold of the clips that come with the Qi timer. Interestingly, this mat doesn't come with the clips. I suspect it's kind of just the sort of thing of, oh, we'll chuck them in there, but they might get lost or they might have issues. So yeah, keep hold of the clips in the timers, because the timers are way better packaged and it'll be sealed in place. But yes, we have the Player 1 mat, which is just some like Qi comic art. I don't know if you've seen Gigi on Instagram. I mean, I'm not really interested in aesthetics and stuff like that, but this is what they have to do on their mats to make them appealing. I'm not sure what I'd want in a map really at all. This is a Qi Infinite Mind map. It features loads of cubing algorithms and a picture of a Qi Sail W, presumably. That's what it looks like. And yeah, loads of cubing algorithms and a few other non-cubing related formulas and things like that. Yeah, let's see. What does R prime F, R U R prime U prime F U? Okay, I mean, that is a useful OLL algorithm that I would know anyway. I mean, I know the inverse of it. Let's try reversing that and see what case it solves, because I'm not sure I recognise that algorithm. F prime R. Oh yeah, okay, it's this OLL case, yeah, of course. I know that. F R U prime R prime U prime R U R F prime. Yep. Okay. Let's see. I mean, that's just not sure what it means by B prime R B squared. Is that B2 and then R squared? R2 D F? Yeah, that's just not achieving anything whatsoever. And then, of course, t equals 2 pi root e over g x plus c x minus c equals x squared minus c squared. Yeah, if anybody actually does maths, tell me in the comments, what does that formula actually mean? Because I did A-level maths, got a B, and I don't do maths anymore. Okay, right. Now we have the hand graffiti mat. This is just some silly cheesy graffiti. Right, now let's unscrew these and get out the Moyu mats. So this is the Moyu mat. It's also 50 by 35 centimeters, just like the smaller Chi one. But interestingly, it does hold in place the Chi timer. I think the Moyu mat was originally designed for the Moyu timer, but wait, why is that on? Why is that Chi timer working? I didn't put any batteries in it. I just unboxed it. That's weird. Okay, my Chi timer is working, despite me never putting any batteries in it. That's a bit confusing. Is it battery? Okay, well, I'm not going to investigate this on the video, but that is rather strange. I don't think I ever put any batteries in there, and they don't usually come with batteries, so that's interesting. But yes, it fits in place the Chi timer. I think the Moyu mat was originally designed for the Moyu timer, but the Moyu timer was a bit unreliable and never really caught on. So I mean, I stock the Moyu mat, but I don't stock the Moyu timer anymore. It's pretty difficult to get hold of now because it wasn't a great timer and nobody really wants them anymore. Whereas Chi timers are still pretty popular and pretty good. I mean, I would happily throw one at the wall if it wouldn't damage the wall, because I'm pretty confident they will be fine, unlike other timers such as the YJ especially. I would never want to throw that at a wall. Right, so let's sort out the other Moyu mat now. So this is the long Moyu mat. It's actually even longer than the Chi long mat at 85 by 32 centimeters. And of course it also holds in place the Chi timer, which is why I'm at all interested in it. I'm not going to bother with all this stuff again. I mean, it looks like a nice mat featuring Moyu's logo right in the middle. If you're sponsored by Moyu, this is a great mat to have. If you're sponsored by Chi, maybe get the other one. If you're not sponsored by any of them, well, which do you want? Which one do you prefer? I personally am using the Moyu mat. Well, I'm not using any mat, but I would use the Moyu mat just because they're cheaper. But yeah, that's a little secret. Moyu mats are cheaper for me to get than Chi mats. Currently the same price on speedcubing.org, but that might change at some point. Right, actually no, I'm not going to do the YJ timers just yet. I'm going to have a look at the GAN mat. Right, GAN mats first. So this is the GAN World Records mat. So these are actually small enough that they don't need to be rolled up. They can be just sent like this, which is pretty useful. So large letter. But yes, the pins are a lot further apart, right on the very ends of the mat, so there is absolutely no way you're fitting a Chi. I mean, actually it's closer than I thought it would be, but you're not fitting a Chi timer on there, and even less likely a SpeedStacks timer. I mean, the SpeedStacks timer just isn't even big enough, really, to even contemplate that. But, of course, they're designed for the GAN Smart Timer. I don't have a GAN Halo timer on me right now, so I can't assume it will be the same. I mean, it looks like on the GAN Halo timer mat that I've got here that they are in the same position, pretty much, although they must come with separate clips because, yeah, I'm guessing the GAN Halo timer is a bit smaller and comes with separate clips because, unlike the previous GAN timer, along with the other GAN 12 mat, which is just them basically boasting about their excellent technology. I mean, the GAN 12 is still pretty popular. I'd say a lot of people prefer it, but there are no clips whatsoever on this mat. So this mat is purely aesthetics, and you can't put it onto a timer. But of course, some people don't want to do stuff like that, which is fair enough. Right, so that is GAN done. Yep, that's GAN done. So of course it's YJ worth looking at now. So this is the YJ timer. It doesn't come with any clips in the box, but right, let's open the YJ timer. Is it going to work now? No, of course it's not going to work. It shouldn't work. There's no batteries. Right, okay, so you can see here the position is actually very similar, but between the YJ and Qi timer. So I wonder if there's a bit of cross compatibility there. Wouldn't surprise me. YJ and Qi are more budget timers and mats, so maybe they're willing to be cross compatible instead of just trying to make themselves difficult for other companies. So let's have a look here at the 100% original YJ Wuxon mat. Why they need to make it clear that it's 100% original and it's a YJ Wuxon mat, I don't know. Right, how to conquer gravity. Okay, I don't know about that, but here we go. Here's a YJ Wuxon mat. Doesn't appear to be any pins in this box or in the timer box, which is a bit strange. Obviously I already have pins, so I can use these pins, but obviously if you're just buying one right away, then you're not going to have those pins already, and you're just buying your first one. I have them, I probably have loads of them lying around running a cube store, but most people aren't going to have that sort of thing. But anyway, let's screw this on. Maybe, usually they're in the box, let's be hopeful, but I can't guarantee that. I don't know how many people will actually want to screw it on. How many people will just want a mat lying around for aesthetic reasons? Maybe now I've actually unboxed all these mats, I can just leave a load of mats lying around just because they look nice around to have around. I've never really thought of messing around with stuff like that. Obviously I rarely use timers anyway, I just use my phone timer for the events I practice. Don't really practice 2x2 seriously. Right, so here we have it in place, the How to Conquer Gravity mat. Obviously I don't know what YJ are trying to get at there, like you can't conquer gravity, or maybe they've got a secret way of doing it that they're not going to tell you about. YJ Wuxon mat, How to Conquer Gravity. So how long is this mat? Let's find out. Okay, so that is 85 centimeters by 30, so that's about the same size as the other Moyu mat. Now let's have a look at the other YJ Wuxon mats. So here we have another mat, and yep, Competitive Planet. Okay, I don't know what YJ are trying to get at here, but this is another mat of theirs. Get it if you want. And now we're on to the 3 smaller mats from YJ. Okay, so yes, this is a bit smaller. Extreme Speed, wow. Yeah, right. Nobody seems to be using any YJ 3x3s anyway. It's just big cubes, and what else do people actually use for a YJ? I guess the square one, so that's 54 by 30. I'm guessing these will be the same size. Wait a minute, that's the same. I'm sure that was different in the box. We just unboxed 2 of these. Okay, so here we have another YJ mat. I don't know why they released so many. They certainly haven't been popular mats, but of course they are compatible with, well, I say they are compatible, I mean the Qi timer also works just fine. So they're kind of a bit cross-compatible, not perfectly, but they do. It does hold the Qi timer in place, so they are slightly cross-compatible. So I don't know how successful YJ are going to be with these, because I don't think they look as good as the and the final mat of this video, the YJ self-challenge mat. Okay, great. I mean, I think yeah, these mats just aren't really going to do very well. I mean, they're cross-compatible with the Qi timer, the Qi mats. So if you've got a YJ timer, you don't need to get a YJ mat. You can get a Moyu mat or a Qi mat. They all work fine. And to be honest, I think the Qi mats are more interesting, especially things like this, I think are more attractive personally. But if you want YJ's mats, then there's nothing wrong with them. If you like YJ cubes, why not support them? Get their mats instead. Yeah, there's not much more to say. Be careful about compatibility, but ultimately YJ, Qi and Moyu are all cross-compatible. The differences are when you get onto SpeedStacks and GAN, which both require different sizes. SpeedStacks timers are smaller, GAN timers are bigger, so there is a difference there. There's also a difference with the new GAN Halo timer as well. One final thing to do is try and drill a hole in one of them. Right, so the final thing is, if you do want to attach a SpeedStacks timer, it's going to be quite difficult because this doesn't hook on place with the Qi clips properly, because they're just not quite big enough. And the second problem is, yeah, it's not quite big enough. Now you can, I want to try and drill a hole here just to see how difficult it's going to be. Okay, that is actually incredibly easy. I mean, the Moyu mats are pretty thin fabric, but it is, yeah, incredibly easy to drill a hole here just with a pair of scissors. So if you do want to try and mess around with this, yeah, you can just put another hole right here, and then you have the exact same thing with another timer. So you can screw this in, and then it will hold in place the SpeedStacks timer. But because the clips are just not really big enough, it's not going to stand. It will just about hang like that, but it's a lot easier to get out again than with the actual SpeedStacks timer itself. How SpeedStacks think they can get away with charging £13 for their mat, I don't know, but they do, and lots of people buy it. And if you want the perfect speedcubing experience, you should probably get their timer, their mat. It will hang in place properly, unlike my makeshift attempt at making it do so with this. I'm sure there are other things you can do that will cost less than £6 to make it perfect and make you able to have a SpeedStacks timer on any of the mats. Same with the GAN, although the GAN is probably a bit different due to the very, very small things there. Final thing, SpeedStacks Gen 4 will not be compatible with the Gen 5 timer. Just to prove that, yeah, there is absolutely no way you are making that compatible. If you want to put a Gen 4 timer on any mat currently available on speedcubing.org, you're going to have to drill some pretty big holes and get some well, I mean, these clips would be fine, but like you're going to have to drill some holes in different places. Yeah, I think that is it. SpeedStacks Gen 4 timers are difficult to get hold of now, although I have ordered 10. They will probably come sometime in May. It's quite slow shipping, but if you want a Gen 4 timer, get ready to snap them up, because they'll probably go pretty quickly because people do still want them for some reason. Right, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, share and subscribe on what is probably a pretty long video. Should I hide anything in the end to reward people that are actually still watching? I don't know, maybe I should just hide some code or something.